I think I honestly got frustrated with like everyone I knew that was like in a band that was so talented and like was just like waiting for like all this stuff to happen for their
Mm-hmm.
bands. And you kind of have to just go out and get it.
Hello and welcome to Where the Living Room Used to Be, a podcast about Rhode Island's music scene. Hey everyone, it's James. On this episode, I got to chat with Sarah Greenwell from Gymshorts and Greensleeves. In our conversation, we cover much of her career, going all the way back to the atypical piano lessons she had growing up to the process of booking Gymshorts' tours for so many years. Plus, we discuss the status and thought behind the second Greensleeves album that is nearly finished. Of course, we also talk about how the new split she's doing with both these projects came about. Love You Funny officially comes out on February 17th with tapes available via Self Luv Records and 7 inches from Freeman Street Records. So as always, I hope you enjoy the episode, and please make sure to follow Where the Living Room Used to Be on Instagram to see some show photos and flyers from Sarah's time in music.
I grew up in Rockland County.
Okay.
Like maybe 40 minutes outside Manhattan, like north of Manhattan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you were pretty connected to the city. Like, how long were you there? Was it through?
I was there like pretty much from birth to like the end of high school, and then I stayed like an extra year to do this program, and then I went to college in Brooklyn, and then I moved to Texas for one very random year, and then I moved home, and then I moved to Rhode Island.
Yeah. What brought you to Rhode Island?
Well, I kind of had like a group of friends that were from there and that had been like living in New York for like a while, and then they all kind of moved back to Rhode Island. And when I got back from Texas, I was just visiting quite often, and then ended up starting the band in Rhode Island, even though I was living in New York, but with people from Rhode Island.
Yeah. Okay. But what was your start in music? What did you, come up with a musical family? Did you take lessons, or is it like self-taught stuff? Or
yeah, I mean, I grew up taking piano lessons, which I was never very good at. I think because the guy who taught me piano was kind of like con artist, like.
Oh wow.
Not really, but he
but yeah.
he would like number all the he never taught me really like how to play. He just taught me how to like fake play, which was like, like I would have liked to learn how to read music or actually play the piano, and instead he just would like show me like the exact finger, like way to put your fingers. I don't know.
Oh, okay. So like the keys were numbered instead of saying like this is like the scale of like, G, C, whatever. Just like,
actually
it's like 3, 4 or whatever. Yeah. Okay.
But I just never felt like he put much time into teaching any of his students like how to actually play. And then I played the clarinet in school for like
nice
a good few years there. And I mean, other than that, like for guitar, I got a guitar in high school, and I was, I took like a couple lessons with my teacher, my like 5th grade teacher, who was like surfer dude. And other than that, like I just had friends teach me certain songs, and I was mostly self-taught by like tabs and stuff like that for like the good portion of like the first 5 years of playing guitar. And any like chord that I had to play, I would just avoid the song because I didn't know how to play like bar chords. So like if F in it or something, I would just be like, oh, I didn't want to learn that song anyway.
Yeah.
Until I started Gymshorts, actually. I didn't really know how to play bar chords, but
Oh, okay. Did you play in bands before Gymshorts, or what was?
I played in one band in Austin, and but I played keyboard in it, which I don't play the keyboard.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
that didn't last very long.
yeah.
and,
Okay.
and other than that, yeah, I did like theater performing when I was a kid, but other than that, like I never had really performed except when I was in college. I would go busking with like this person that I was dating.
Oh, okay.
So like I didn't have much experience. I kind of was just like, I had so many talented friends and they were all in bands, and I was really intrigued by music and like live music especially, and I went to see people play quite often, and I think I honestly got frustrated with like everyone I knew that was like in a band that was so talented and like was just like waiting for like all this stuff to happen for their bands. And you kind of have to just go out and get it. Like, unfortunately, I mean, sometimes it does. Sometimes people get really lucky, but you can make all this stuff happen for yourself. And I was kind of just like, look, like I'll try it. I'm going to try it because you guys are like, I think I just kind of got inspired by that or frustrated by it. And then was like, I got to see if I can do this. I don't know. It's kind of a weird start, but.
No, that's cool. And I identify with that. Like, just my personality is very much like that as well, of just going out and doing these things. And, whether it's with bands or starting a podcast or just, have like a little bit of knowledge about it and then just go and do it and see what happens. And I don't know, led me to here. So doing all right with it, but yeah, I mean, you kind of mentioned like learning some like surfy guitars, like, I'd say that Gymshorts, kind of pulls from a lot of different stuff, kind of has like some garagey sound, some surf, sound to it. Like, what were some of the influences that kind of went into that? And like, was it like an intentional thing when you were starting the bands? Because even that, I mean, I'll add another question part of that question, that it seems like from what I read that the start of Gymshorts was pretty quick too, that you're just met up with some friends with like, we're starting this band, and you just like pulled it together, but was there like a lot of thought of like, we're going to start a band that sounds like this for this reason? Or was it just because of the people that you pulled together at the beginning that like it just organically sounded that way?
Yeah. I mean, I started it with this one other person who, is, to be quite honest, difficult for me to talk about because there's some like pretty intense just history there. And,
okay.
That person is like a bad person for me personally.
Okay.
But so yeah, I think like the start, if I'm thinking about it, like I've kind of blocked some of that out. But the start, I would say, was like, yeah, we were just hanging out and like starting this new band, and it didn't start as a joke because like I think I am very jokey about a lot of stuff, but I do take a lot of things seriously. But I did want something like kind of lighthearted, fresh. And so I think we were just kind of pulling. Basically, we had this idea to like make a band, like a punk band for like kids, and tour like school gymnasiums, which be invited to do nowadays. But yeah, like I think that's kind of like what the inspiration was from. And then I think we just kind of started writing songs together, and then and then gradually it just sort of evolved and became just kind of more my project.
Oh, okay. And what year was this? That it was around 2012, 2013 or something like that?
Yeah, which is crazy. Like you wrote in the email when we were talking, it's coming up on 10 years. And I was like, oh shit, like kind of 10 years just kind of actually like,
oh, did it go by?
Knowing, people are like 10 years, I don't know, but I guess happy 10th anniversary or 11th anniversary, I guess, to us, but
yeah, we'll get you some, balloons or something, Cool. Yeah. And then how quickly were you playing shows? I mean, was that drive to like get out there, part of this? You know, like once you had your first batch of songs, we were like, we're booking shows, and
Yeah, I mean, honestly, some of the inspiration that, was like I had been living in Austin the year before or the year or two before. And I didn't really ever grow up in like that. It's such like a music central city. And I mean, so New York, but like this was kind of like everywhere was just had shows. And like I had gotten that taste of like playing live. And I think I was really excited by that. And so, yeah, I just started booking shows around Providence, and then I just got totally obsessed. Like, I think like I kind of viewed the like game of booking as like a game, kind of how we were talking about games before, but yeah, like I was just like, I gotta see like what I can do. Like I was trying to guess people's emails. I was trying to like,
oh yeah.
Like I was obsessed. And I thought it was fun because it's like, a lot of people don't reply, especially when you're starting out. But a lot of people do. And like, I was surprised, but also like really satisfied by like how much you can actually just do for yourself. And, I was our booking agent pretty much until like 2 or 3 years ago. And now we have a great booking agent, but it's like, I actually really enjoy, I mean, I hated it, but I also really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'm with you. Do you remember the first Gym Shorts show, where it was?
Okay, well, technically the first Gym Shorts show was like at an open mic night at this burrito shop that I worked at with like this kid on drums that I knew from high school.
Cool.
The official one was, I believe, at the News Cafe on July 20th, I think. I actually just made a document. Sorry if this is boring, but I just made a document of like every show I've ever played.
Really?
Or like every show Gym Shorts has played, and then every show that I've like been like either playing in a different band or like working at. Like, arranging. So it's been cool. So I've been like have those dates fresh in my mind.
Absolutely love that. I mean, obviously, as you can guess, since I host this podcast, I'm like a big music history nerd, and like I'm a huge fan of the band Garrison, and they did like a re-release of one of their records, and in that was this big insert, and it was every show that they played, like where it was, the bands that they played with. It was just the raddest thing for me to just like read through, So it's awesome that you did that. It's actually a big regret of mine that I just never, like I kept like the tour stuff together, but like I just never really kept the records of the shows. But yeah, a lot of the bands I look up to, like Braid, knows every single show that they played, and yeah, it's really cool that you did that. So
yeah, it's cool to like just remember all the bands that we've played with too, and like see where people are at now too. It was fun.
Yeah, but I mean, with some of the booking stuff, like, so how did you go about that? I mean, did you connect with like a DIY community? Was it like, where were you reaching out to? How were you reaching out to people? Like.
So it was like, I think I started an Instagram when we started playing shows. So it was not through Instagram, but it was honestly mostly through Facebook. And I would, when we were starting to tour, I would go, like, I would spend hours just researching, like, bands that I looked up to that were like touring bands. And then I would like look up their tour routes, and I would like pretty much kind of try and base it off of that, because they were, relatively, like the distance made sense, like obviously they were by like professionals. So I would look up that, and I would see where they played. And then I would try and get a bill together to like present to the venue, or like, so that like, it was like, yes, we're a new band, but like here we have these people that are like, I pretty much have this bill. So like, do you have the date open? And the way that I would try and get the bands, like, I don't know. I tried to just look up bands on Bandcamp, or like different, who the people, like sorry, I'm having a hard time explaining it, but like I would look up
No, no.
like local venues in whatever state, and then I'd see like who are these are bands that I looked up to, or friends bands that I saw were going through that town, and I would see who they were playing with. And then like it was kind of interesting, like it was like, well, maybe that band won't play with us yet, but maybe the bands that open for that band in town.
Yeah.
Well, then like I would kind of try and look at like like people's like past Facebook events and see like how many people went to the show, and like try and get the ones that had like the most people to come to the show, because I thought, well, we don't know anyone there. We can't bring anyone there. So like the aim was to try and, I mean, for our first few tours, that's how I kind of went about it.
That's great. That's great. Yeah, again, really identify with that. It's really cool to see how much effort and just that the stuff seems like it's really working out for you. But yeah, I mean, with some of the music, I'd love to just kind of run through some of the records that you made. So with Gymshorts, the first album was No Backseas. Is that correct? That was like 2014. So what was the process of making that record? Was it like the first batch of songs that you had, or did it kind of go into, more refinement from that, or, how did that kind of go?
Straight up the first batch of songs that we had, we recorded it at our practice space pretty much like live, and it's fun. Those are like, it's funny like to see the progression of like the recordings from like old recordings. Like I feel like finally now like these past few ones, like not to knock those ones, but it's just like I feel like I've struggled with recording in the past because I'm like, I feel like we're like a live band, and it's hard to like capture that energy in recordings. And so I feel like there's two types of bands. There's like the bands that you go see that when you see them live, it reminds you of the recording. And then there's the bands where when you listen to their recording, it reminds you of them live. And I think probably more the second, but yeah. So yeah, did that one at the practice spot.
No, that's cool. And yeah, since this is Rhode Island themed, you've done a ton of interviews over your career, but you probably haven't had too many people want you to talk more about your song "You Only Vil Once." Can you talk about that one? Because I think it's just I've done a lot of research, and a lot of people comment about your song titles and the fun quirkiness. But to me, as a Rhode Islander, that one hits right on the head, and you did a beautiful job with that. So with "You Only Vil Once," that's a good one. That's a good one. So
one of two that I did not write.
Okay. Well, God damn it.
I wrote the title.
You did. Well, I'm talking about the title. I'm talking just the title of the song, because again, everyone talks about all, Ding Dong Ditch and all these other songs that you've come up with, but like the title of that is spot on. It's amazing.
Well, yes, I was proud of the title, but yeah, it was kind of, everyone was like, YOLO, YOLO. It was like, that was like the time when everyone was saying YOLO.
Oh, okay.
So I thought it was just funny, like play on words. I mean, that's, yeah. So I thought of "You Only Vil Once," and then the other person kind of just took it and wrote the rest of the song, which was cool. And it's a great song. I think the lyrics are actually really good, but yeah, we don't play it really.
Yeah. No, I just wanted to shout it out just because of the title, like looking at your whole collection of them. It's just great. But yeah, I mean, pretty shortly after that, you did the Wet Willie EP. And this has some stuff that went on to the future full length, like Copycat was, on the later full length and stuff like that. But how was that recording process, and was that something like a lot of bands can kind of get caught up into, of just trying to put out some new songs as you're just kind of like staying active and in preparation for the next full length? Is that kind of what happened, or
kind of like an EP where it was I think it was probably like, okay, I mean, there's been a lot of transitional phases. Like, I think every time we record, it's kind of new people are like,
Okay.
Part of the band or like have been touring with the band now. So, I think that was kind of like a bit of a transitional phase, but I think the idea there, if I can, it's interesting to talk about this because it's forcing me to like really remember what the hell has happened in the course of I think that it was like actually the first 2 songs that we ever wrote, me and this other person. And so I guess those didn't go on the first album.
Okay.
No. So then it was those 2 songs, Burrito and Hey, Do You Wanna or something. I don't know. Do You Wanna? That's the other song. Sorry, this is embarrassing.
No.
So it was those 2 songs and then 2 of like the newest songs that I had written for Gymshorts. And then so we just did the EP, and then because one of those members became like a bad person to me, I wanted to re-record them for the new album because I was just like, I just wanted them to not be like attached. That felt like important to me at the time, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. No, I get it, But yeah, then Knock Knock came out 2018. That was your next full length. From my view of this stuff, it seemed that it was a little bit of a shift in sound. Maybe that was from different people that were playing, but a little bit more melodic and like just the sound was bigger. So again, maybe just recording styles or whatever. Like All Nighter and Gotta Get Away, like they just has like this like bigger rock sound, rather than just straight ahead punk, so but yeah, so like was that part of it? Like was that done as well as in your practice space, or did you go to a different studio, or did you want it to be a bigger record?
We did that with this person Ben Smeta from this band Black Beach that's from Boston, and my family has this cabin in the Berkshires, up in the Berkshires in Massachusetts. And so we kind of all went there for like 3 days and recorded there, which was like really, really fun in my opinion. And, there wasn't much service out there. So it's kind of like this little recording retreat. And he did an awesome job in making it sound big and full. And I was really happy with those recordings.
When did you start getting more attention with Gymshorts? To me, it seemed around that period, just from stuff, but I could be absolutely wrong with that. But was it earlier than that, or like when you started to solidify a little bit more as like it got easier, I guess.
It got easier, like when we had like a record and like, I think like we were able and lucky enough to get on a lot of like local bills or local-ish, like in this greater New England / tri-state area, so we were able to secure a lot of support slots for that. And I think that kind of also really helped us, because then people are like, oh, they're opening for this band, but which is, really cool. And I think that helped us tremendously, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, cool. Um, then the next one was a 7-inch that you did, right? The 90 miles per hour 7-inch in 2020. That's a great record, great artwork. And you made some videos to accompany both of the songs that are on there. Those are awesome. I highly recommend checking out Gymshorts YouTube channel to check those out. But yeah, I mean, for me specifically, like the Zero Thanksgiving was a like just phenomenal song and just a great video. I don't know if you want to talk about that song or either of the songs from the 7-inch and kind of what was going on with that release and, releasing this in 2020. Like
it's funny. It's like I'm starting to relax now that we were like talking about like the like last few.
Yeah.
Recording because I'm like I have some real not that some of those people that I've played with in the past weren't great people, but I just feel really lucky to like have really amazing supportive people just to record with. I mean, we did that 7-inch, those recordings at Big Nice Studio with Shane Parker. And that was just really fun. We just went in there for a few days after tour. So we were like pretty tight on and we had been playing the songs for a while. And that was just a fun experience. And I made those 2 videos with these people that Dom and Ethan from Corey Street Studios. And those were fun videos to make.
Yeah. Just a great concept. So were you touring with James at the time or
no, he just like recording.
Oh, okay.
And
cool.
Then but it was like we just kind of right after we finished the tour kind of went into the studio with him.
Gotcha. Okay.
It was pretty effortless,
Yeah.
I mean,
I do have to admit, as I always do with anyone that knows Casey Belisle, that I am a huge fan of his. He's one of my drum crushes is Casey. So
Casey drums on the new single.
Yeah, exactly. He's just amazing. Just super nice guy and super talented. But can you talk about the new single and the new 7-inch and cassette that you have coming out? Well, I guess the music is out, but you have pre-orders available, or depending on when you listen to this, maybe it's available right now, audience. But you can pick up the 7-inch or a cassette via Self Luv Records. And who's doing the 7-inch?
Freeman Street Records.
Freeman Street. Yeah. Okay. Can you talk about that? And then we'll get into kind of that transition into Greensleeves, so.
Yeah. So the Gymshorts version is out now. And then the Greensleeves version comes out February 17th, kind of with the full release.
Cool.
This project was fun for me because it was kind of, I went to James, I think during the pandemic, not like immediately. I wasn't careless or irresponsible, but because it was just me, I was able, like for Greensleeves at least, but I wrote this song, Love You Funny, for Gymshorts. And then I was doing a lot of Greensleeves recording, and this was kind of like a bit of a deviation from Gymshorts, sort of, like it's a little more melodic. It's a little more singing-ish, right? Like it has like screamy or whatever. And so I was like, I was just like messing around trying to play it kind of in a Greensleeve style one day. And I was like, this could be kind of a cool release idea, like to record the song in both styles. So that's what I did. But I don't know. I thought it was kind of cool, just only because, these projects are so different. Like if I'm being honest, Greensleeves is kind of like this project that I kind of shied away from for, let's say, 10 years.
Okay.
Probably like kind of truer to like the music I originally would have wanted to make, but I was, younger, and I thought like, oh no, like slow and sad means like boring. Like I thought
Okay.
everyone was going to think like this is boring, and it was honestly and still is terrifying to play. Like
Yeah.
to play solo. It's vulnerable. It's like I'm like so hyper aware of, like it feels like how I felt when I started Gym Shorts, but like times 10.
Hmm.
Like just terrifying. So every time I like agree to play a show, I'm kind of like, oh no, why did I do that?
Yeah, like,
Like it ruins I'm anxious until it's like over. But
yeah, wow.
to just push through it because I think it could be cool.
Hmm. But yeah, since, we're talking about Greensleeves, like, how is it like writing and recording those songs though? Is it more freeing? Like, like when the audience isn't there and you can just kind of explore sounds, because yes, it is a very different vibe to Gym Shorts. It's, slower, more like melancholy, kind of like dreamy folk stuff, however you want to categorize it. I mean, it's really, really amazing stuff. But like, yeah, what is that? Like, is it fun writing those songs? Like, is it freeing to write those songs?
Yeah, I mean, it usually like is like the content is usually generated out of like sheer misery and trauma. So fun, I don't know if I would
Okay.
use that.
Yeah.
Cathartic,
Yeah.
definitely. Like, yeah, in some ways, like I feel like it's like it releases it so that
Hmm.
I don't have to hang on to those feelings or
Okay.
something.
Yeah.
So I think it's interesting because both projects is kind of the opposite too. It's like
Hmm.
with Jim, I love playing live. Like I love touring. And I think eventually I'll get there for Greensleeves, but recording feels a little like harder or has historically felt harder for Jim Shorts. But with Greensleeves, yeah, I've really enjoyed just being in there, and it feels easier to translate Greensleeves songs and have them come out like the way that I'm hearing them
Okay.
than previous recordings of mine.
Okay. And is it like truly a solo project? Like, are you doing everything with that, or do you have other people on the
It's
recordings?
so James has been on the recordings, like
Okay.
producing pretty much. So like I'll go in there and I'll put the guitars down, and some of the stuff will we'll work out together, like other little keyboard parts or other guitar parts. And some of them I'll layer in, and then some of them James will layer in, whether I'm kind of there or not. And a
Okay.
lot of like how he mixes it, and he's really been like amazing with adding kind of like these like the ambiance to the song.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah, so you have an album, Attractive Nuisance, that came out in 2021. And yeah, I mean, a song that really stood out to me was Behave. And it has a lot of kind of like what you seem to be talking about right now, that there's just a lot of kind of like, I think to me, it sounds sort of like a layered vocal, kind of like sweeping vocals that comes around like towards like the middle of the song. But it's like this, delicate finger pick song. It really like cut through and like really hit me. So I appreciate you writing that. Yeah, that it's cool, to hear that production. Even just like listening to the album, it's a pretty diverse collection of stuff, like your instrumentation, even though yes, it is like a solo project. It sounds like there's some, like electric guitar, pieces that you have. Not Ordinary is another one that kind of like really stuck out to me. And that one, was that an acoustic guitar that you were playing, or it sounded almost like a not plugged in electric guitar or something like that, or like a hollow body or something? But like it was like just the roominess of it, just the production is awesome. Your songwriting is great with it, but like
Thank you. Yeah, that's actually this old resonator guitar.
oh, okay.
Guitar that someone gave to me, and it has like changed. I mean, I asked to borrow it to record that song, and
Yeah.
then they ended up giving it to me, which
Oh, cool.
was amazing. But that guitar I wrote the second Greensleeves album, which I don't know when will come out, but I wrote that pretty much on this guitar.
Oh, okay.
And, it has, I believe, changed my guitar playing, my songwriting, and everything. I feel really grateful to have that guitar.
That's rad.
Yeah, but
Nice.
sorry, that has nothing to do with the song. But
Oh, I mean, you played it on that song, right? So there you go. That's cool. So you have a new record. Is it written? Is it recorded? Is it like where's the status of that?
so it is written and recorded,
Oh,
and
okay.
I've just been. I mean, it probably needs like 1 or 2 more days in the studio just to finish it up. But
Okay.
I've sort of just been. I should just release it.
Yeah, right
But
now. You
right now,
decided it.
let's leave it. Yeah, that it's gonna be called Gration Day. To about You want to know why? It's kind
Yes,
of a
I
cool
do.
story. So my dad, when he was little, had this little stuffed mouse, like a stuffed animal called Gration that he named Gration.
Okay.
This story makes me want to cry. Sorry, but his mom like threw it out or he lost it, and
Okay.
he has this day called Gration Day, which is like in March or something. And I should know the story about it, but like that he calls Gration Day, and I think it's so sweet, you know. And this album's just about absolute just loss and grief. So I
Okay.
felt, I don't know, it just
Yeah.
really encapsulates that to me.
So that's like the day that he like recognizes the loss of that like beloved.
Gration Day.
Wow.
But he told me that because I lost my stuffed animal on tour a couple of years ago, and I was like a wreck. Like this
Yeah.
stuff from like when I was a kid, and I was like beside myself. I was like, well into my 20s, and I think the people that I was on tour with at the time were like, "What is going on?" But I was miserable. I was so upset.
That
But I
sucks to
don't.
hear that happened. I'm sorry, but
That's okay. It's my fault, honestly. But
yeah.
let's yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's a cool story, and it's cool to I don't know. Yeah, just thank you for sharing that, and just loving something so much, I think matters, and recognizing those things. And I think that at least that's what kind of rings true to me. And yeah, there can be stuff that gets tied up with that, but it sounds like an awesome record. I can't wait to hear it. Yeah, one thing that's consistent, and it seems that it's part of like the Gymshorts appeal, is the art. Like, can you just talk a little bit about that? Again, like, was it something that you wanted to kind of have? I mean, for those that aren't familiar, it's a lot of just like hand drawn, cartoony, I might say kind of like Garbage Pail Kids kind of stuff, and it ranges, but it's still like consistent across everything. It has that. So like, what was some of the thought that went into the artists that you worked with, or what you're trying to get across with all of these pieces?
Yeah, so I think like, so for No Backsies and Knock Knock, we worked with Matt Trapp, who's from Rhode Island, played in Party Pigs, a couple other bands. And he's an incredible artist. And like, I think at first he was like, oh, he just drew something up and was like, here you go. And I was like, what? This is so sick. Like, can you? And then I had asked him to do the next one, and he had worked on the Knock Knock one, and they're amazing. And they like, it's kind of just like perfect fit, it was like, he just made these things, and then we're like, cool, like, it wasn't like this, like, hey, I have this idea. I don't know. I kind of feel, I mean, sometimes I guess I've been like, oh, I have this idea, can you do this kind of thing? But for the most part, I feel like with art for Gymshorts, I've kind of been like, hey, here's the songs, or like, here's the album, here's the name of it, whatever, kind of do your thing.
Yeah.
It's like, I think that's, so this other artist, Jared Andrews, who's from Fort Wayne, Indiana, we played at his house one time, and he had all this amazing art on his walls. And I was like, this is incredible. I was just really drawn to it. He's an incredible artist, right?
Yeah.
He's like, who is this? Who made all this art? And he's like, me. And I was like, oh, no way. You've got to do something. Like, we have to do something together. And he had made the flyer for the show and stuff. And he does all the flyers for this local venue, the Brass Rail in Fort Wayne.
Oh, yeah.
And
they're
just
cool.
amazing. It's amazing. And so he's done like a couple of t-shirt designs for us. He did the cover of 90 Miles Per Hour and back cover. And then he just did the Love You Funny cover.
Cool.
So yeah, and he's just like a pleasure to work with, and amazing too. So yeah, I feel really lucky to like have connected with those artists in that way, and have had them contribute their art to like our stuff. I don't know,
Yeah. And you also do like a lot of kind of classic, or like you do a lot of redesigns of some classic logos for a lot of the shirts, like Newport Cigarettes and Dole and Bass Pro Shops and stuff like that. Is there something? I love that stuff, but I like for the podcast, I ripped off the brown logo and just made it where the living room used to be, so I love all of those types of things as well. But what went into that stuff,
I think like sometimes, like if I've just seen like this old design of something, I mean, it's probably not right, like I feel like what are you doing that? But I don't know, like sometimes I'm like, oh, that's sick, like, and it's kind of like similar to, or like there's some way to kind of like pun it out or something, like the Dole one, it says like premium brand or something under on the real logo, and I made it say like, premium band or something, like
nice.
So like, I think sometimes if I see something and I'm like, oh, that would be sick as like a Gymshorts logo, which is like totally not fair, but yeah, that's kind of, so those designs have been me mostly. I used this site like called like Pick Monkey. I don't have Photoshop. I spent hours on this site trying not to pay for it and like just like zooming in and like edit it. I don't know what I've done, but it takes me like, it would take somebody in Photoshop probably 3 minutes to do what I've done in like the span of like 15 hours.
Oh yeah.
And like way too many screenshots and saves, and like my whole like desktop is like a mess.
Yeah. Hey, what'd you get into it? I dig that, so yeah, that's cool. Just a couple of questions left in this segment about your career. I know that you've mentioned that you've had like a pretty that you've had a good group of people that have played in the band. Are there anyone that you want to like shout out? Again, like Casey is on the new record. I know Noah from Bocek did one one of the, I don't know, some of the last tours with you. I'm not sure how many, but yeah, are there any other like Rhode Islanders or people that you want to shout out? One of the guys from Joy Boys I can't remember his name, but is in the band as well. Yeah.
So
Okay. You know, like
Casey and Noah and Dante, actually also from Bocek.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Bass. So yeah, it's just been like really fun to play with them. And Casey Belial has also played drums in like the past year and a half, like on a little tour. Jake from Chicago, Jake Gold, Alex from Soso Glows, and Alex Orange Drink. He's played bass on a couple tours in the past few years. I made this shirt recently, a new gym shirt, which is like kind of my new favorite merch item, which kind of has like everyone that's been in the band or like toured with Gym Shorts in the past, like, 4 or 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And it has like, it says Gym Shorts Class of Forever. And then it has everyone's kind of face like in like a yearbook style.
Yeah.
And underneath it has like their other projects. So like,
that's awesome.
Max is on there and her project Vex and TJ, Andrew, so I really love that shirt because it's kind of like, they're always, I feel so grateful for everyone's time that they've put into playing with this band, and they all are so talented and have their own stuff going on too. So I don't know, I think it's cool to like go get this t-shirt and then you can like kind of go home and look up all the other projects.
Yeah. No, it's awesome. I didn't realize that all the bands were there. I just saw the photos and stuff like that, but that's cool that you've included that. So, and what has it been like, with this, like, do you, come like with the song, like pretty, together when you are like writing with the band? Like, are you like, are all the parts there, or is it like open to the people that you're playing with to add their own pieces? Like how much is like written by you for like Gym Shorts and stuff like that?
Pretty much I'll write the song, like on the guitar, write it me, sing, and the vocals,
Yeah.
Most of the time when I bring it to the band, it's like a pretty fleshed out idea of like what the lyrics are and the structure and everything and the chords of the songs. And then I'll bring it there and we'll just play it a few times and like everyone kind of will add their own parts. And, rarely I'll have like pre-established, like kind of like this idea or this one little part that I hear, a certain bass part or drum fill or, something like that. Or I'll have like a specific idea rarely about how I think it should start or something,
Okay.
But for the most part, that part is pretty like open to whoever's playing at the time. For like I don't know. I mean, I also am not like a drummer or really a bass player, so it's not really for me to be like, I wouldn't be able to like communicate what I can hear anyway,
Oh, okay.
And I think like I like that's why I like playing with these people and with different people. It's like they put their own some. It wouldn't be fun for me to just tell everyone exactly what to do all the time.
Yeah. No, that's cool. What is your greatest accomplishment tied to music up to this point?
That is a deep question. I just feel, can I say what I feel like the most proud of?
Yeah.
I feel proud of like just the experiences that I've had as a musician. Like I feel like grateful that I've just been able to travel and see different parts of like the country and the world and be able to do it in this way that feels really fulfilling and fun.
Yeah.
And I think that I'm proud of the like persistence that I've had through some like pretty intense like just band experiences and interpersonal experiences. Like I'm proud of like the way that, you're constantly learning, and there's like so many different situations. Like I'm sure that I could have done things better or certain things better in the past, but I think that I'm proud of, like, for the most part, of like the way that I've handled certain things, and the way that I just feel like it keeps progressing, and that I keep growing and progressing to like just be a better person and try to do the best that I can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a weird thing. I don't think I've told you, but like I've been playing in bands for decades and toured for like 10 years as well. And it's a weird thing, going out there, and we booked our own shows. I booked our own tours, and it's a much different thing. Like what actually happens out there on the road, and what you're talking about, like being with the same people in a van and sleeping on floors, and shows up and downs, and it's just it's a different thing. And then coming back, and everyone's like, oh, you're on tour, you got to do this thing. It's like, yeah, but it was like so much went into like that opening slot, or so much, like just what, the toll that kind of come from that, so it just seems that a lot of people don't really understand that, and I'm not expecting them to understand that, but they just kind of skip ahead to like where you are like right now, and they're like, oh, Sarah just did this, that's awesome. It's like, yeah, but it's been 10 years like of all this other stuff, it's cool, and you should be absolutely proud of that stuff. It's a huge accomplishment to do what you've done. Thank you. Yes, Sarah Greenwell, thank you so much for taking the time to talk about your career. Everyone, please check out the new release, Love You Funny, which is going to be fully available February 17th, and then along with a 7-inch and a cassette. Please pick those up. As everyone that is listening is probably annoyed by me talking about of like actually buying music and supporting people, and buying physical copies like really matters to artists and to record labels. That helps them, play more shows and put out other records. So, please support Gymshorts and Greensleeves and the labels. But yes, thank you so much, Sarah. It's great to talk to you about your career.
Thank you very, very, very much.
I'm gonna kill you, baby, with my blue jeans on. I'm gonna milk you, honey, for the things that I want. Gonna love you funny. I'm gonna love you funny. I'm gonna hold your hand till you hand it over. Gonna drive